Hello, welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another city. This one is giant and very impressive and makes some fantastic use out of the voxel hands. And it's called the Frostborn City, which is this glorious thing sitting right behind me. So this is a giant city all fully set up and ready to go in survival mode, all ready for some roleplay or even just a tower defense game mode against some zombies if you can find a mod that lets you do that. So we've got a bunch of buildings all the way around the middle, we've got a giant tower of hydrogen, as you can see we've got some fire coming out the top there, just for a nice centerpiece. Then around the outside, we've got a trench with a couple of bridges go into the city, with some defense turrets to make sure you are nice and protected. So this whole thing is a world that you just download and then load inside. When you spawn in, you'll be in one of the buildings, and then you can just walk around and see what it has to offer. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look around some of the buildings, have a little walk around, and I think that'll be that. So we're going to come all the way down to here, and this is our first point of interest. So we've got these little bridges that come all the way across a little trench. So this would be very good for defending against any kind of armed vehicles just trying to siege your city. Around the outside, along our bridges, we've got these lovely towers, we've got some turrets on top, we've got an access point on the side to load it up with ammunition, and it should be very nice and protected from any kind of shots, and it's nice and raised up, so you should be able to get a good view of what's going on. Just behind us, we've got our first row of buildings, where a lot of them are going to be pretty much the same. They've all got very similar interior, but we've got a few different ones here and there. But as you can see, like I said at the start, we've got some fantastic use of the voxel hands, acting as snow that's built up on all the buildings. As we get closer to the middle, due to the heat of the tower, we've got less snow built up, which is a very nice touch. But we'll go on the inside when I go around on foot. This is what this side looks like. We then have a multi-floored building right next to it with a connector at the back to dock a vehicle up, and we can see a small little balcony part at the top there. We do have some flame effects. There is an exhaust block on some of these buildings, just acting as a chimney, so it should be nice and toasty warm on the inside. Moving along, here's another building just like the one we just saw. As we were to move all the way around, that's what we get. If we were to move to the inner ring, so over to this one, we've got, again, some very similar buildings, but less snow has been built up due to the raising temperature as we go towards the middle. So we can see a hydrogen engine inside, a couple of beds. Over here, it's another multi-floor building where, once again, there's an exhaust block, so you're shooting out some fire. Then over to this one, it's going to be pretty much the same. In fact, I'll just put the camera like this, because it does give it a better view. Then for the inner ring, it's going to be pretty much the same as what we just saw. We've got, again, some small buildings, some large buildings, but we do have a slightly different one, where we should have a training center with some training dummies for you to test out weapons in, and of course to store all guns. In the very middle, the centerpiece of this town is of course the Tower of Hydrogen. I don't know what its proper name is, but I simply gave it that name because it is quite apt for what it has on it. So right in the middle, we've got some connectors to dock up a small vehicle, and of course to go over, fill up your hydrogen tanks. And on the side here, with our catwalks, we've got a ladder that's going to go all the way up to the top to have to get to each of the floors to do maintenance work. As we were to move all the way up, we can see a bunch of large hydrogen tanks, make sure this thing's got a nice lot of fuel. Over into this section, behind all this glass, we've got a cargo container, so we can store a bunch of precious resources inside. If we were to keep going up, we've got some connectors on the side for a ship to dock up to. Then at the very top, here's our exhaust block shooting out some fire. That's the very top of it. And then just zooming all the way away, that's what the town looks like from a distance. It's just a very nice and highly detailed city. And of course for the surrounding area, because it is a modded planet, or at least I think it is a modded planet, this is what we get. So we've got giant forests, we've got massive mountains, and as we were to zoom all the way away, we've got giant plains of nothingness, where it could be very easy to get lost on the planet, because there's not really that many points of interest that could take you back home. Yes, that's simply what it looks like. And we've got to come all the way up to here, to this lovely little ring, where our city is sitting. And there it is. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to grab hold of my character, wherever the camera's gone, there it is. Now we're going to have a little walk around, have a view at some of the interiors, then I think that'll be that. So here is a bridge we can walk across. It's quite a sizey bridge, so a pretty big vehicle can get across here. Now we can walk across our fake snow, all the way around to one of these buildings. The doorways are on the inside, so you can't access them from the outside, but this is our first building. This is a generic living quarters, where if I was to open it up, we're going to be instantly greeted by a cargo container, a hydrogen tank, hydrogen engine, and a couple of beds around the room. This will be basically the majority of the buildings in this city, and we're going to have a few different ones here and there. So we can come out of this one, and come across to this, where this will be our lab room, our storage room, where the windows have been covered up by some beam blocks. Then if we were to go inside, this is what we get. So once again, a hydrogen engine for some power. We've got some shelves around the room. We've got some steps that lead all the way up. And up to here, we've got some lab tables and a few freight crates here and there. We've got a bunch of tanks on the outside, which do look like they need refilling. Then all the way down again, around to this side, that's all we can see. Around here, what building is this? I have a feeling this is another living quarters. Yes, it is. We come around to this one. Oh, this building will do quite nicely. We can now walk around to this one, come inside, it's right next to the middle, and we'll come up to the door. So coming all the way up to this, the doorway is open already, but this is what we're greeted with. We've got a full-on medical bay to respawn on, we can see our O2HU generator, an oxygen tank, some steps that lead all the way up, then a doorway round here when we come inside to a little sitting quarters. We've got our sofas, we've got freight crates, we've got some beds and chairs right next to it. And around the room, again, another hydrogen engine. Do have a little sneaky hidey hole around here where we can head across to the other buildings. And when they come out, come around to those steps and then move all the way up to see even more. So up we come all the way around through this doorway. We then got a bunch of shelves around the room. Round into here we've got our toilets. Then turning around, there's our exhaust port shooting out a bunch of fire. And of course 2 beds, so you can have 2 people who want to be very toasty warm right next to it. Coming out to this, moving all the way up to the next floor, this will take us to our balcony, where we can then go outside and, well, see the size. So we can see any kind of enemies coming towards us, monitor all the other buildings, then of course come to this side and look up at the big tower in the middle. Now just jetpacking all the way down to the ground, we do have one more building to go to, and it is going to be bloody difficult to actually find, and that'll be our training center. So it won't be that one. In fact, we can take a look at this one, it might be slightly different. Yes, in here, this one is different, where we start off with a bunch of beds, we've got a hydrogen tank in the back there, we've got some lockers around the room, then we do have some steps to come up, and around, and up to here, where we do have a little button panel to control the lights, on and off, some freight crates, then once again, a doorway that comes out to a balcony, where we can have a good look at the tower, and have a good look at the rest of the city. But jetpacking all the way down, and finding the training room, hopefully I can find the training room, might be this one, let's go inside this one. And this is what we get. Oh, it's another building. I don't think I actually discovered this when I had my walk around. But it looks like we've got a bunch of access points. We've got 100 tanks, hydrogen tank, and an O2HU generator. Coming up these steps past another O2HU generator, you have a button panel for the lights on and off in here. All the way up and round. There's some beds, there's some freight crates, and some shelves around the room. Now we come all the way back down. It looks like it is getting a bit foggy. This planet does have a few custom weather effects that I will go through the end, but it might actually just play by default. If the fog rolls in, the fancy snow will kick in, and there it is, perfect timing on that. And these snow effects are bloody fantastic on this world. So I just let that go for the moment, as I just walk around looking for the actual room I was looking for. And here it is. I didn't actually have to skip ahead, it was actually right around the corner from where I just were. But here is our training center, where I can open up this doorway, and here are the training dummies for you to test your guns on. We've got armory lockers, we've got weapon lockers, and of course a battery to keep this thing nice and powered. On the inside, cargo container to store a few bits and bobs inside, like all of your rockets, all of your guns. Then around the corner here, there's our hydrogen engine, and there's an access point to load it up with ice if you need to do so. And then walking around, I believe there's only one more place to go, which is going to be the tower in the middle. If we want to zoom away just a little bit, the free camera, that is the snow effect, and well, it does really suit this whole environment, and make the city look even better. Yes, coming up to the tower, we've got a big ladder to go all the way up, and to the top, we've got multiple floors to go through, where it'll take us to each of the hydrogen tanks, just in case we need to repair it all up. So coming across to this, we should have a doorway to open up and go through, yes it is, and here is the gigantic ladder that goes all the way up, but once we get to the top of this ladder, there's going to be a drop-off point, where there'll be another ladder that'll go even further up. So to save a bit of time, I'm just going to jetpack up to the top, to the next floor, all the way up, and then here we are. So we come up to this section, we've got ourselves a button panel with nothing set up, but here are our hydrogen tanks. So this is going to be if you want to do some repair work, and of course to use this as a scouting platform to shoot any kind of pesky drones or any kind of enemy tanks coming towards your base. We can walk all the way around this, we've got lovely catwalks, and all the way around to the opposite side where we have the exact same ladder system. And we'll go and do that, we'll just come up to this one, all the way up to the next floor, where it's going to be very similar. So up to this one, we come to the top of the hydrogen tanks, so there's a floor below, and once again, we've got a fantastic view all the way around us. Now just for the sake of symmetry, come around to the opposite side and continue on all the way up. And this will take us to our cargo container room, which could be nice and sealed inside, but the doors of course been left open for where I've been having a look around. So coming through here and closing that up, this is what we get. There's our cargo container in the middle, we see our curved conveyors linking everything together, and putting my light on for the moment, we see our catwalks going all the way around, we see some hydrogen tanks around the outside, and there's our doorways where we need to go through, go further up into this building. Onto the opposite side, this door is open and will take us back down to where we just were, so coming through here and closing that, we now need to come through this door, or that door, to continue moving up. So opening up this one, then looking up, like I said, it goes up and up and up to the very tippy top of this structure. So coming up to this one, turning my light once again, into here, some more hydrogen tanks, but we can see nearly the top of this thing, we can see the glow of our exhaust blocks, and we can see how foggy it is all the way down, and just how great that snow effect is. Anyway, we walk around here, do maintenance work if we need to, and of course not walk into any pillars, so we can jetpack across this, and then come across to the opposite side, and continue moving all the way up, which is to save a bit of time, to save going up that little chute. Now jetpack over to this section, because this will be our final floor. This is the very top of where we can go, without of course jetpacking to the very top, and this is a view down at the city, and all the way around. So from here, once again, we can do some maintenance work if we need to, and we can customize this area if we want to. We can remove those columns, remove the ends of those conveyors, maybe open it up just a little bit, and add some turrets if we need to. Yes, for the final thing, what I will do, just come all the way up to the very tippy top, and this is where our exhaust blocks are sitting, and where they're shooting out all of their fire. And it will be very toasty warm and sit in the middle, but I suppose it's better than freezing outside. And there we go. That is that for the Frostborn city, and as you can see, the snow has built up quite a lot, so I will have to remove this for the ending segment. And there we go, that is a little bit better. But yes, like I said, that is that for the Frostborn city. It's an absolute fantastic city, one hell of a lot of detail has gone into this, and it's all set up and ready to go in survival mode if you want to do that. And of course, like I said at the very start, if you can find a zombie mod or find some kind of invasion mod, could be a very good tower defense game mode, especially with the little trenches and bridges where the enemies have to come across. It's very much like Bloons Tower Defense, if that's what you want to do. So there'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around with it yourself. Highly recommend you do, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.